another episode of But Make It Books, a podcast where we're bookishly healing through life. And I'm standing, already fangirl, but I'm a fangirl in front of all of y'all. I have the incomparable Bernice L. McFadden. Welcome to the pod.
Hello, and thank you for having me.
No, thank you for doing this. Shout out to Phil Branch, author of Double Dutch Fuss. If you guys haven't gotten that, please go pick it up.
Excellent
Um,
memoir.
excellent memoir.
Yes.
I did not know what I was going to get myself into, but it was beautiful. I don't know if you know this story, and I'll do it really quick so I can get into everything else of our conversation. But I actually met Phil for our live podcast taping we did for Adisha's book, first, Secret Life of Church Ladies. And he walked
Yes.
up to me and he says to me, I'm going to be writing a memoir and it will be released. And I want you to be my conversation partner when it released. And I said, okay.
Of
And then he
course.
emails me and he says, I don't know if you remember me. I said, no, I remember you. I remember you. I remember you. He said, well, the book is out. It's with Amistad. We're
Right.
doing this. And I said,
Yeah.
don't you worry, we're doing it. And so that's
Hmm.
how we met. And then he was like, would you be open to interviewing other authors? I was like, sure. I had no idea it was going to be you.
I
So
love
I am
him. I
super
love
thankful
him.
for Phil. I am super thankful for Phil. So how we always start off our podcast episodes is, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling, for the most part, well.
Okay.
I'm staying away from social media and the nonsense unfurling on the news channels for my mental health.
I'm
But
proud.
yeah, I feel good. How about
Okay.
you?
I'm good. I need to use the brick that I bought so I can lock up my phone so I don't have to see the social media of it all. Unfortunately, my full time job is in politics, so I don't know
Oh,
if I can get a break.
right, right.
It's tears, 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 all the time.
Yeah.
But if my ancestors can do it, ain't ain't nothing but a thing.
You
Ain't
got
nothing
it.
but a
You
thing.
got it.
That's all I know. So in Baltimore, we call this our snowball, our form of an icebreaker. So you are a true explorer, which I started to figure out in your memoir. What is your favorite place you've been to?
Ooh, favorite. Favorite,
Hmm.
favorite, favorite. Whenever I would say I've been to the continent of Africa several times. I think that continent is my favorite place to visit. But alongside that,
Hmm.
Virgin Gorda in the British Virgin Islands. I love that place so much.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yes.
What's your
I've not
favorite?
been for a few years and I was trying to, get there this year. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I love it there. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I also feel like the continent of Africa feels like a warm hug.
Yes.
Every time I go, I feel like I'm home.
Yes.
Yes, I've been to Lagos. I've been to Nigeria. I'm getting married in Africa, so I'm like,
Oh my goodness. Well, congratulations. Which
thank you.
country?
We're going to Cape Town, South Africa,
Love it there.
and then we're gonna honeymoon in Lagos, and then we're gonna go to one of your favorite places, which is Kenya. We're gonna be
Yes.
in Nairobi.
Ah,
Yes,
well, you're going to have a fabulous time.
I'm excited. We're testing out if we're gonna move to
We
Nairobi.
all are.
That's what it feels like.
Yes.
Yes, I'm okay with that though.
I am too. I am
Listen,
too.
good food, good people, everybody's happy.
Yes.
It's the sun.
That's right.
I really do. So today we are talking about your memoir, Firstborn Girls. And as a firstborn girl and as a firstborn granddaughter as well, it's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot.
Yes.
It is a lot. And I wanna step back, and as someone who has always been a storyteller, and you have hilarious moments, especially when you took your mom's book and low key kind of copied it. It was hilarious. What made you really felt like it was time to write your own memoir?
Um, so it was 2020, COVID. We were all locked down. I split my time between three places.
Mhm.
So I teach at Tulane University in New Orleans. So everything shut down. So I went home to New York to be with my mom. And I had been working on this novel on and off for a few years. And suddenly, like this voice in my head was like, it's time for you to write your memoir. Now I had been picking at it. I had
Mhm.
been, sprinkling some stuff on social media, but I had not committed to writing the memoir. And I was like, okay, because when the people them talk, I'm like,
Yeah.
all right.
Yes.
And so I had just maybe 4 or 5 months earlier signed with an agent. I hadn't had a literary agent for years. And
Mm.
I was publishing with Akashic Books, which is a boutique publishing company. And so I was like, I think I'm ready to get back in the game with the big boys. So you need an agent.
Yeah.
And so I acquired her based on the novel I had been working on. So I woke up one morning and I sent her an email. I was like, hear me out. So this is
Here's
what
the
I'm gonna
thing.
do. And she was like, okay, let's try it. Let's try it. And so that's how the memoir came into being.
I love that. And you started the story so at a deliberate point of when you
Yeah.
almost lost your life.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
your mom pulling you back to life, all those things. Why start there? And what does it mean to open a book about firstborn girls with your mother, who's also a firstborn girl, literally resurrecting one?
So I had many starts and stops with my memoir. And that's just how writing is for me. I can start one place and write 50 pages, then go back to the beginning, like, that's not sitting well with me. So it made the best sense in my mind to start at a moment in my life where I literally died and was resurrected.
Mhm.
Um, and this is a story that my mother has shared with me a million times, probably more than she ever wanted. But, I'm a storyteller and I will ask the same questions over and over and over and over again. So I was like, okay, yeah, this is a good place to start. But then from, a writer's perspective, trying to grab the reader, I was like,
Mhm.
well, this is the best place to grab the reader.
Yes, that was the inciting incident.
Yes.
And you said something very poignant just now about the resurrecting, coming back to life. And I felt like throughout the memoir, you did that a couple times. Like you died and came back to life, died and came back to life, died and came back to life in different ways.
Right.
And also, what I loved about this book is it just felt like ancestral reverence
Yes.
throughout it, and it felt like a love letter to your maternal line, and it reaches all the way back to 1822 Georgia. And what did it take to trace that line, and what was waiting for you at the far end of it?
So, I have to really say thank you to the people in my family who came before me, right?
Mhm.
My ancestors ahead of me who put together our family reunion, who did all the research. We've been um, meeting since the early 70s, mid 70s. So those people who have since passed on, they did all that research.
Mhm.
What I realized recently was even though I go back to my four great grandmother, 1822 in Georgia, she was actually born in Virginia
Oh
and
wow.
then sold down the river, literally sold down the river to Georgia. Right. So,
Mhm.
yeah, they did all that work for me. So, we've had these documents for generations. I have been working on my paternal line for, I don't know, 30 years at this point. But for my maternal line, all the information was already there.
And there's something else you do when you talk about your family, when you go through your family history, you call your elders by their name rather than grandma, mom, dad. And when you're reaching for those titles, they come sparingly. And I remember distinctively when you called your mom mommy, it was when you were giving birth, and I was cracking up because I was like, correct. Because what is happening? Like, I don't have no kids. And I'm sitting here like, I look at my friends, I'm like, ooh, Chile.
Yeah, yeah.
But why use that device? Why does naming them as themselves let you do that the family titles really couldn't?
So it creates distance
Mm-hmm.
and it forces me to be completely honest because I know that this is my mother, this is my father, my grandmother, but so I want to protect them because
Mm-hmm.
those are my people. But if I treat them as characters in a story, then
Mm.
it makes it easier for me to be 100% transparent and honest. So that's why I did it.
No, I
Because I
really.
found when I was writing, it went this memoir went through many many drafts, and I was mommy and dad, and I was like, I'm not being completely honest. I'm not telling the whole story, so I had to just call them by their given names.
No, I appreciate that. What we I was telling, it was so funny. I was just with Nikisha, Elise Williams this weekend.
Yes.
Yes. And we were talking about your book, and I said, this year I felt like my books have been having so many conversations with each other. And I felt like your book was also having a conversation with me, especially when I think about The Seven Daughters of Dupree, or I
Yes.
think about some of the other books that I read, and looking at your family as people versus looking at them as the titles that they hold.
Right.
And I would love to think about, when you were writing, did it feel like you were writing with your ancestors or for them or both?
Both. And it's always been that way. I'm
Mm.
always writing with them. They guide me. I have download sessions. I was just with my little cousin today, and we were talking about that. And I was like, when we were talking about our water bills,
Listen, because
and
why
I
is it so
said,
high right now?
"Ha."
I said, great, correct. Because why is it so high right now? Like my water in my air. I'm like, oh, I can't do this.
So she said, "Well, do you take long showers?" And I was like, "Yeah, because that's where I get most of my downloads." When
Mm-hmm.
I get in the shower, they just start talking. You need to do this and this. And so they bring me all this information in the shower because water is so sacred, right?
Yes.
So yes, they guide me.
Mm.
And I'm always, and I say this all the time, I'm always writing about my people.
I love that.
They have some of the best stories. I think my family is so interesting.
They are.
Yeah. They're very interesting people. So yeah, I'm writing about them and I'm writing for them.
Mm. And there's something that you decided to take on as a firstborn girl, for all the firstborn girls out there, that very certain inheritance that is handed down to first girls in a family, the gift and the weight of it. And I would love to talk about that a little bit more. Why did you know you had to start with, it had to be about firstborn girls?
So I didn't even know that there was such a thing called like the eldest daughter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
I had a suspicion once I had my own daughter and was
Mm-hmm.
raising her and the things that I avoided
Mm.
doing because those things that I didn't like that was done to me. And she's an only child for me. She's
Yes.
an only child. So um I am one of four,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a brother, the middle child. He's 3 years under me, and then the set of twins who are 13 years under me. And I've been responsible for each and every one of them. So imagine being, age 5, having to take a 2-year old, a toddler, to the nursery, and then take take myself to school.
Yes.
And I was like, something's not this doesn't seem right. But it was common because I grew up with other firstborn daughters who were responsible for their siblings. So I was like, oh, this is just the way it is. But my grandmother, my mother's mother, she didn't like that because
Mhm.
she grew up down in Georgia with a house full of children that she had to be responsible for.
Right.
And she didn't like this. She's like, that wasn't fair. So then I started doing research and having conversations, and I'm like, oh, we're all like resentful in a certain because you don't have a childhood. So I would be able to have to enjoy my childhood whenever I'd go to Barbados for the summers because I
Mhm.
wasn't responsible for anyone, not even my little brother who was there with me. And but for a minute I was kind of angry
Mhm.
about not being able to enjoy my younger years the way I should have been able to.
And I'm sure your mom has read this, right?
Yes, she did. She read it, and I let me preface this by saying I was very nervous about her reading it
Yeah.
because it's a ride and there's a lot of truth in it. But my mother suffered a head injury in 2016 that wiped out a lot of memories.
Mm.
So while I was writing the memoir, I was asking her questions. Some things she could remember, some she couldn't. And I explained to her that I was writing a memoir about the family. And right before it was published, I was like, listen, I know you want to read it. I don't really want you to read it because I don't want to re-traumatize you.
Right.
And I don't want you to get angry with me. And she was like, no, it's fine. And she was reading it, and she would call me and be like, oh, I read, and you know what Vivian did today? But I was like, that's you. So there was a distance, like there was
Yeah.
this distance, and she would go, yeah, yeah, I know, but she wasn't taking it on that way. She was like, there's this character in this
Yeah.
book named Vivian, and she did X, Y, and Z.
Wow.
Yes.
Huh. Did she even think about, like, there's something that really stuck out to me in the book about running. All of you have. Did she think about how every woman ran, even if it meant just running somewhere? And like, were you guys all like, did she realize that she ran, you ran, all of these things? And also, were you guys all running towards the same thing?
So no, she didn't note that, right?
Mm,
I'm aware of it, but
yeah.
she didn't see that. Yes, we were running towards freedom,
Mm,
right? We were all running to get away from, whatever trauma we were experiencing, unhappiness. Um, so yeah, I mean but that's why people run,
yeah.
right?
That is
They
why
they
people want.
they run to be free.
Mm. And you did something very deliberate. You went to boarding school
Yeah.
partly to get away from your dad.
Yes.
Understood. Talk to me about what escape meant for like a black girl in particular, that complicated things where the way out sometimes ran through white institutions.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there was one bad semester, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, my time at the boarding school was wonderful. I was
Mhm.
really able to to um figure myself out, like get
Mhm.
to know myself
Yeah.
because I was not burdened with taking care of children. I just had to take care of myself. I think that that place in many respects saved my life. When I
Mm.
look at some of the other girls I grew up with, what happened to, teenage pregnancy, all of that. And I'm sure I would have ended up a teenage mother. Um,
Hmm.
there were, as far as I was aware at the time, there weren't any boarding schools started by, run by, populated by Black folk.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to what was available to me. It taught me a lot. It taught me about the world of white people,
Mm.
right? Because I grew up in a Black community.
Yeah.
And did I see white people? Absolutely. My mother worked with white people, but they weren't part and parcel of my everyday life. But for 4 years at St. Cyril Academy, I got to, see, hear, and observe. I'm like, oh, okay. Because, my mother was telling me, my grandmother was telling me, but you're a kid. He's like, oh,
Yeah,
no,
you didn't know.
no. I was like, oh, so that prepared me for the world
Mm.
in ways that, my friends weren't prepared when they graduated from high school and went, to college or just went into the corporate world.
No, I definitely understand that. As someone who also I went to a private school, wasn't boarding school, but it was half and half. But I was one of one, and so
Uh,
in some of the classes, so similar.
yes,
I had my black
yes,
girlfriends, but yes. And
yes,
I think it's something very different about being intimately placed in those spaces because you're hearing and seeing everything, and they don't even realize what they're saying sometimes. Like, oh, I can't go to prom with so and so because my dad would have a fit, even though we're friends. And it's like, oh,
yeah,
oh,
yes.
oh, oh,
We
oh,
could
oh.
the nuns, and my school was a Catholic school,
Same. I went to a Catholic school,
and
so I was like, I was with you. I was
oh,
like,
okay,
oh,
yes, and they were like the nuns were like we couldn't wear corn braids. We come back from the summer with our corn braids. That's not proper. And I was like, what do you mean it's not proper? Like, didn't make any sense to me. This is my hair is
mhm,
neat, it's clean. What do you mean it's not proper? So you're saying that me as a Black person,
mhm.
culturally, ethnically, is not proper.
Yep.
So but I was, having inklings of that, understanding it, but I didn't fully grasp the significance of those statements until I was a full grown woman.
Hard. Same.
Yeah.
I think about it now, and you brought up the Archdiocese of Baltimore. Obviously, I was a part of that system.
Yeah.
God, I didn't have any of those issues. But my old high school was in the same building as the Keepers documentary.
Ah,
So
wow.
it was Seton and Keough, and then we combined, we became Seton Keough. It's closed down
Right.
now. There's barely any all girls schools left
Yeah.
that are under the archdiocese because they had to sell it off to pay for all the debts
Of course. Yeah.
from the crimes.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. For the
so I
crimes.
really loved how you brought that out because I talk about this all the time with my friends. I'm like, I am no better than the people in the neighborhoods I came from. I just know how to code switch a little bit better because of the
Yeah.
situation placed in.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
literally the only justification that I have right now because I know
Right.
how to mix and mingle and I know, as Langston Hughes says, the ways of white folk.
Yes.
The ways of
Yep.
white folk.
And
And
it's
there's
exhausting. It's
it is very
exhausting.
exhausting. We are in this situation now
Yeah.
because yeah, it's exhausting. I'm
Yet
exhausted.
again.
We're right. We're exhausted as firstborn girls. So and listen, as Kamala D. Harris, she has a firstborn girl, she exhausted too. So there are so many lessons that you had at a very young age about your body, the womb, abuse, and who gets to decide what happens to a girl. And writing those chapters as a grown woman, what shifted in how you saw that young girl? I know.
She went through a lot.
Yeah, she did.
And it's not until, obviously, I'm aware that I've been through a lot, but to
Yeah.
sit down and write it word for word over a period of 3.5 years, and have to confront the page every day and every incident,
Mm.
it was a lot. But people who have experienced trauma, have grown up in it, know how to um what's the word I'm looking for?
In the book.
Disassociate.
Yeah.
So I'm writing because I've had this question several times, not just for my memoir, other stuff that I've written. I write heavy stuff. How do you get through it? I'm just it's I dissociate.
Mm.
I write it, I see it, and I write it down, and it's very rarely that I am moved to tears while I'm writing. Now, after the
Mhm.
story is done, I am very careful about the sections that I read in public when I'm
Mm.
on book tour or I'm invited to a conference. I'm not going to read anything that's going to shatter me in front of the crowd. I'm not doing that.
Mm.
But that's when it kind of like rushes home for me. After it's all written, printed, then I'm like, oh, well, this is my experience. And it's difficult, but again, like, I write about my grandmother who experienced so much trauma growing up in Sandersville, and how she had a car accident and pretended that she couldn't walk because it was a money grab.
That was hilarious, and he stuck her with that knee. I said, "Oh, she a G,"
And
because I
she
don't know how to be.
literally didn't flinch. She didn't move. Now, that's some serious dissociation, right?
Yeah.
So I think we all have a bit of that in our system.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, was the disassociation your form of protection as you were writing?
Yes, and it's not a conscious decision. It's just
Mhm.
already ingrained in me.
Yeah.
I am that person, and I've read that firstborn girls, not just firstborn girls, but anybody who were raised in trauma, they know how to put on this face. Like they're not flipping out. Something crazy happens, and
Mhm.
we are together. Inside, we might be screaming. Everybody around us is flipping out, but we are stone. We like we just got to handle it. Let's get through it. And later, I will go and cry in the shower.
Wow. And I felt that. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
reading this, and I'm like, whew, I have to ask her, how did you just keep going? Because, and then when once you just said that, I'm like, oh yeah, I do that too.
Yeah. You have to. There no other choice. You have to
Mm.
keep marching forward.
You you really do. Um,
Yeah.
and there's a part of this in the book too about like marching forward and disassociating, especially like with your grandmother reporting your mother, and then
Yeah.
you having to call the police, and then it's just like so many hard truths in there because we're taught that the police isn't you're supposed to call the police. But then we
Right.
learned that the police isn't always the safest thing for us, right? Can you talk
Yes.
about that and where the gel piece of your mother's story and the price of corrective institutions?
So, now this incident that you are referencing is when my father was
Yes.
threatening to kill my mother. He had a gun to her head, and we were there. This is 1981, 82. I think the police cruisers still said to protect and serve. They no longer say that, right? And I'm still thinking that yes, you call the police and they're going to be there to protect you. Um I was stunned when the police officers came in and when they realized that the gun wasn't loaded, that they were just like, if you want to file a report, you could go ahead and file one. You could go to the station. They weren't going to take one there. And I think I was just like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
That was wild to me. But as I aged, as I got older, and I started seeing things that, I wasn't one to watch the news. And I
Mm-hmm.
started watching the news and I saw what was happening between the people in my community and the folks who were supposed to be protecting them. And I realized very quickly, oh, we are not to be protected.
Mm,
We are the criminals and we are the villains no matter what.
mm,
So it was a bit of a hard pill to swallow. Also, I think because I am born and raised in America. I'm a Black American, but I have Caribbean roots as well.
mm,
And when I would go to Barbados and spend time, everybody looked like me. The
mhm,
cops look like me. And
mhm,
so when the boys are hanging out in front of the gas station drinking their beers, the cops didn't roll up on them and tell them, to scatter. It
mhm.
was no problem. So when I was seeing that wasn't happening back in New York, I was like, oh wait, this is
Yeah,
everything. And so my parents have been telling me, my grandparents have been telling me, but I'm a kid. And I'm like, no,
right.
racism is over. That can't be. And now my eyes are wide open and I see it.
Yes, you were blind and now you can see.
Now I could see it.
Because
Yes.
that is like I love that because you also said this very poignant quote by Mark Twain that history rhymes.
Yes.
And you set your personal scenes against historical ones and you anchored very private family moments to public record. And I
Yeah.
love how you did that. Was that a why was that such a craft choice? Um, setting the personal with the political, to like with the black families and everything that else was
Right.
happening in the world.
Because I am really fascinated by patterns.
Mm-hmm.
And over the past, I want to say, let's just say 20 years, I have been really observant of patterns. And I'm like, oh, you know what? This is the same thing that happened in 1950 over here. It's happening again. And it's happening again. We're living through, you see what's going on with Nolan Wells, and people are obviously making the connection with Emmett Till.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I feel like we're like on this merry-go-round.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm confused as to why we can't break the cycle,
Hmm.
right? And so, yeah, when Mark Twain said that, history does not necessarily
Rip.
um, repeat itself, it rhymes. So there's going to be some inkling there that's going to call you back to a past historical event. And even when I'm just like driving and I'm like, I keep seeing the same car. There's no way that we are leaving at the same time. I don't know where this person lives, but I'm like, this is the
Mhm.
same car. So I'm very fascinated by patterns.
Yes, and you bring up a pattern truly of manifestation, but also like kind of like seeing like permission into the future,
Yeah.
uh, sitting in front of you because multiple times it has happened to you. For example, seeing Felicia Rashad in the elevator, and then later on working with her sister, and it's like, so let's
Yeah.
talk about that because throughout the book, you're questioning, you're unlearning religion, it runs rampant throughout the book. And why
Yeah.
was it important for you to unpack that and find other spiritual practices and then also name them?
I heard probably maybe I was, on my third novel and I came across a quote. Oh, I guess it's not a quote, it's a question. The question was, if the slave and the slave owner is praying to the same God, whose prayers get answered?
Mm.
And I was like, oh,
Yeah. Whose prayer?
yes. So that's one of the reasons why I started backpedaling. I was slowly back because I'm not I haven't read the Bible from cover to cover, but I knew that some things just didn't make any blast of sense. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. If God is all knowing,
Hmm.
then he knows the beginning, the middle, and the end. that he already know that you ain't gonna do right, but you got to go to hell for and why is hell a bad place? Because if you were out here doing the devil's bidding, shouldn't he be celebrating you down there? Like none of it was
Mm.
making sense. And I was like, yeah, this is not for me. And I know that people need things to lean on, and I know that if this is all you know,
Mhm.
right? From the time you were born and now you're in your, because I have those people in my family, 70s, 80s,
Yes.
90s, and they're like, the Lord this, the Lord that. And I was like, oh, okay. But I think that's why reading is fundamental, because you should read something other than the Bible, is what I'm saying.
Yes. And was that like a slow erosion, or was that more like just like a l-
It was slow. I would really believe it started when I went to high school, when I went to boarding school.
mm,
And that's the first time that I had to sit in the confession box.
mhm.
I was like, this don't feel right. Why I have to go through you if I'm talking to God every day? Why I gotta sit in this box and go through you?
Oh my
So I
god.
was like, something don't feel right.
Yes.
So
That's so
it started then.
the funny thing is that's usually when the questioning starts is Catholicism. Cause
Yes.
same for me, cause I was like, I don't need you to talk to God. I can talk to God anywhere I want to. I
Right.
just love God. I don't need to talk to you.
Right.
What I need to
I
talk to
don't
you
need this
for?
intermediary. Like it was so yeah, I started then. But it never really connected. What I loved about um not Catholicism, was never a fan, but my parents thought it would be a good thing for their children to be Catholic. But my maternal line, they're Baptists. So
Mhm.
I loved going to church because I loved the music
Yeah, the
and I
music.
loved the energy. And it
Mhm.
made me feel good and it made me feel, sad, those sad spirituals. And I just was like, yes, not you, but yes to whatever else. So there are things that I have taken away and put away for myself from these religions that speak to me, and I think it's okay. I think we can do that.
I think so too. I do believe in God, but I understand
Yes,
questioning, and I think we're allowed to question, and I think that's why
we should
reading is
be.
also so important. But after writing all of this, what's something you're still unlearning and still trying to give yourself grace around?
What am I unlearning? Oh, I have been steadily unlearning being judgmental. I don't really consider myself a judgmental person, right? But there are certain things sometimes I'll catch myself going, I don't know," and then I'm like, hey, hey,
The firstborn girl in us.
she has the right to wear whatever she wants to wear. Is she happy in that outfit? Because I'll be sitting there going, she looks a hot mess. But I'm not wearing it. She left the house. She's okay with that. Why am I sitting there judging this woman? So
Oh
I
God.
am I am unlearning that. And my family, they've not caught up with me. Right? So when they start when they start with it, I just get up and leave. I'm
Yeah.
not going to be a party to that type of behavior anymore.
Mm.
I'm not doing that. So I am steadily unlearning that. What was the second part?
And what are you still trying to give yourself grace around?
Oh my goodness, for spending so many decades being a people pleaser. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
I used to bend myself out of shape to make everyone around me happy, even as I was suffering. And now
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, I think no is gonna be my favorite word. Like
Mm.
if I can't do it, I can't do it, and I'm not going to feel bad about not being able to please someone other than myself.
I love
I don't know
that.
how, I'm a woman of a certain age. I don't know how many years I got left. So
Listen, no is a
that's,
complete sentence. No, no,
yeah.
no,
So,
no explanation. No.
no. Yeah, I don't do that anymore. No,
Yeah, it's tough.
it
It's tough.
is
I'm
because
still
I
learning.
think people hear something different, right?
Hmm.
Especially if you don't follow it up with an explanation. I'm
Yes.
like, no, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And you see the look like,
What you mean
no.
no? Especially when you're a firstborn girl and you're black, right? Because then it's definitely foreign. Because we have been throughout our forced migration here, forced to do things we don't want to do.
Yeah,
And if we don't do it, then why? And then
right.
if we do it, then no, if we don't do it, then it might be like perceived as lazy, and like
Yeah, far
that's like
from it.
kryptonite. It's like calling a white person racist. Like, it's the same
Yes,
thing. I'll be like, oh my
yes,
God, you think I'm
right,
lazy? You don't think I'm doing
right.
a good job? Like that's something that I've been slowly unpacking. And luckily I work with one of my dear friends and seeing him move as a man in our business, and he's just like, yeah, I'm not doing it. Like the boundaries of it all. And I'm like, oh,
Yes,
you can do that?
yes.
You can
I didn't have boundaries for many, many years.
mm,
And
yeah.
now I'm like, and if you listen, if you do me wrong, I used to spend time trying to explain to the
Mhm.
wrongdoer why it was wrong, how it harmed me, and and now I just disappear because I told you once, twice. I'll give you three chances, but now I'm not having the conversation. You will just never
Oh, no.
hear from me again. No animosity.
Mhm.
I want the best for you, but we can no longer be connected.
Yeah, we just can't kick it.
Yeah,
We can't kick it no more.
no.
And I want to know, is there a younger version of you that you had to forgive to finish this book
Did I have to forgive?
or give grace to?
Grace, grace, because as when you're growing, right? Until
Yeah.
you die, you're
Mm,
going to make mistakes. And
mm,
that is just part of the experience of being alive. So I didn't have to forgive her, but I had to give her grace because I, as an adult, I was still thinking about those stumbling blocks and feeling bad about them. And now I'm like, yeah, that's just part of life.
yeah.
It's part of life. No one out here, we don't have no perfect people. There aren't any
No.
perfect people here. So this idea of perfection, which is something that I feel bad about for the young people coming up in this era with social media and believing that they should have it all together at 20. I teach these kids and they're like, I feel like a failure because I don't have a business like, Anne Rand on Instagram, who I was like, first of all, most things here aren't real, right? Like
Right.
most of the
This
stuff ain't
this
real.
is fake.
But I
Okay.
understand that a young person and people my age too, they believe what they see. And so I'm glad that I didn't grow up during this time. Like I wasn't born during this time because I see how severely mentally and emotionally damaging it is.
Mm.
Yeah. It's scary.
It is scary. I was on the cusp. I went to college, right? Well, when Facebook, you had to still have a college ID to log in. And they only let you get one if you're about to be a freshman. And
Okay.
then Twitter was really big in college for me. But
Okay.
still, we barely people barely had the first iPhone.
Yes.
So there was no recording. I thank God for that
Oh. Oh.
because I was out. Nobody should have.
Yes, we were all out.
Yes, and I think that's what makes the kids not negotiate. about holding two truths at the same time, and also the purest test now.
Right.
If you don't like this one thing, then I'm cutting you completely
Yeah.
off. Versus
Yeah.
negotiating with yourself, what is your hard lines? What are your boundaries? Is
Right.
this like a hard line? Like, I'm not dealing with anybody who's like this? Or am I okay with this? I don't really like it,
Yeah.
but we can
Yeah.
still hang out. We can still be friends. And I think we're in that place of social media where if it's my way or the highway, no
Mm.
negotiation,
Yeah.
nothing more. And I think about that a lot. I do feel bad for
Crazy
the kids.
times.
The kids is going bad. The kids
Yeah.
is, yeah, I'm gonna pray for the kids. Um, and to really close, this book ends right where sugar begins. Now that you've done all of this, what did writing your own story finally give you that writing someone else's never could?
That's such a great question. Oh, being able to express on the page all of the things that I experienced, all of the people who inspired me, the stumbling blocks, the love, the broken heart, all of that. And for people to read that, to read my memoir, especially those people who have already read my catalog and be like, oh, oh, I get it. I
Mm,
see. Because I can do 50 million of these
yeah.
interviews, right? And drop something here, drop something there. But once you read the memoir, I think you understand from the place, you understand more vividly. I don't know if that's the right word. I don't know if that's the word I want to use. But you're completely clear on the place from which I write,
Hmm.
and who and what inspires me, and who and what drives me. And it's, again, it's my people, right?
Hmm.
Not just my people, meaning, my bloodline, but my people,
Yeah.
you, my people.
Yes.
Right. So
Yeah.
I think that um that's what the memoir, that's the gift this memoir gave me, and ultimately will give the readers.
No, it definitely felt like a hug. Like I
Yeah.
was sitting back on the porch and somebody was just playing like in my hair and just being tender with it. It's like, yeah, it's gonna be hard sometimes because braiding ain't always easy. But I'm also gonna walk away with something very beautiful, something intentional, something with love and care.
Yeah.
And you definitely did that.
Thank you. Thank
No, thank
you.
you for your pen. So, anything exciting coming up? Anything you want to share with the people, with the folks?
Um oh, I don't know. I'm working on a novel that's kind of new.
Oh.
I'm very excited about it, and I hope that it's gonna find a home in the next few months. And I
Mm.
hope, I would really like to push for it to be published next year.
Mhm.
I don't know, but fingers crossed. But I'm it's it, I had written about it on social media, I don't know, a few months back, and I was like, oh, it's very different. And then I realized, I was like, it's not very different.
Mhm.
I'm still writing about my people. I'm still writing about the Angel Sisters.
Mhm.
And yeah, but I think it's a bit more mainstream than my previous novels, and I'm having a good time with it. I love the characters and I love the story, so I hope that that love for the characters and storyline transfers to the readers.
I truly, truly love that. Where can the people find you? I know you're taking a break
Oh,
from social media, but where can the people
I,
find
I'm,
you?
I'm, I'm posting a little bit. So I am on IG. I'm on Threads. I have a Substack, Ink
Mhm.
and Incense, and I'm actually publishing short stories under the tab, the Department of Degradation. Those stories are great. great
Ooh,
writers. I have a story coming up soon by Disha. And also my Angel Sister archive is on my Ink and Incense Substack. And
okay.
so yeah, lots of good things happening over there.
Yes, and we also will be in conversation, me and you, on September 12th
That's
in the
right. And St. Peter
Mhm.
and St. Peter's, is it Petersburg or St.
Petersburg.
Petersburg?
Petersburg. I know. I stay put Saint too, and I'm like, it's Petersburg.
Outside of Richmond.
Right, right outside of Richmond.
Outside of Richmond.
Yes,
Yes.
and I'm
Yes.
super excited for that conversation. It's free, y'all, so just catch a train, drive, whatever. I'm very excited. I'm going to be in conversation with you, Nikisha, Sadiqua. It's about to be a
Yes.
vibe, and I cannot wait. And I've had the pleasure of interviewing both Sadiqua and Nikisha before, and now I had the pleasure of interviewing you. I'm
Wonderful.
like, oh, I'm ready for this. It's about to be, we about to kiki. We about to have a little Tommy time. I can't wait. So, with that, I want to thank you so much for taking your time, your energy, your pen, and being vulnerable and really bleeding on the page because that's what it felt like. And so, I want to thank you.
Thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing you in September.
Yes. And with that, y'all, that's another episode of But Make It Books, a podcast again where we're bookishly healing through life. So, make sure you're reading, but always make sure you're healing as well. All right. Peace, y'all.
Bye.